This story took place around 8 years ago, back when I was just dipping my toes into the chaotic pool of freelance copywriting. I was young, hungry, and a little too eager to get anything published. You know how it is those first few clients where you say yes to things that your future self will want to scream about. Yeah, this was one of those. At the time, I was part of a few Facebook groups for creatives and freelancers, and someone posted a gig that seemed quirky. A woman, let's call her Myro, was looking for someone to help write a high-converting landing page for her online jewelry store. The catch: it wasn't just any jewelry, it was elven symbol jewelry. She made rings, pendants, and bracelets that looked like they came straight out of a Tolkien fever dream. Everything was laced with dramatic-sounding Norse runes and elvish inscriptions that, in reality, she just made up. But hey, I wasn't picky. We messaged back and forth, and she explained she had very little to offer in upfront payment. Still, she proposed a performance deal, 5% of revenue from the landing page I'd build for her, with no money paid unless the page brought in sales. Now, this isn't exactly unheard of in the freelance world, but it's the kind of deal you only agree to when you're either extremely confident or just desperate for portfolio material. Guess which one I was? Still, I figured I'd walk away with a decent piece of writing and maybe a couple $100 if the universe was feeling generous. I had low expectations, but enough motivation to put in real effort. I even spent time researching conversion psychology, A/B testing frameworks, and the kinds of semi-spiritual nonsense her niche audience was likely to eat up. 2 days later, the landing page was live on her WordPress site. I gave it a sleek headline, emotionally driven copy, strong CTAs, and even helped configure her first round of Facebook ads. All for free, all on the hope that something would come of it. Spoiler alert, it did. Day 1, $120 in sales. Day 2, $200. Day 3, $150. Day 4, $360. And it just kept climbing. By the end of the first month, her tiny WordPress shop, thanks to that landing page, pulled in over $6,000 in revenue. I was shocked. I was staring at the numbers in Google Analytics like I had just discovered buried treasure. I was in the back end, daily, watching conversions tick up. Mira, to her credit, didn't hide anything at first. I had full access. She even seemed excited at first, emailing me things like, "Wow, this is working better than I imagined." Yeah, no kidding. For 2 measly days of work, I was about to make $300 in the first month alone. I wasn't expecting to make a living off elven cosplay jewelry, but suddenly, I thought I'd hit gold. Passive income, baby. So I sent her my invoice. Friendly, professional. "Hey Mira, great to see the page doing so well. As agreed, here's the invoice for 5% of the landing page's revenue this month. Looking forward to next month." No reply. Okay, maybe she's busy. I wait a few days. Still nothing. A week passes. I send a follow-up. Another week, I call her number. Straight to voicemail. I check the site's still running. Still using the exact page I wrote. Still pulling in sales. Now, I'm fuming, but not surprised. I had been ghosted. One of the oldest freelance horror stories in the book, and now I was a victim. And what stung most wasn't the money, it was that little part of me that genuinely trusted her, that felt good about the work, that thought we had a deal, and that some corner of the creative world still operated on integrity. 3 months went by. Nothing. I stopped checking her site every day. I moved on to other gigs, trying not to let the bitterness creep in. I tried to convince myself it was a lesson learned, that every freelancer takes a few hits on the chin. And then, I got a message. It was a random Tuesday afternoon, and my phone buzzed with a Facebook message from Myra. "My site is down. Are you doing this? Please stop." Now, let me be clear. I had absolutely nothing to do with her site crashing. I wouldn't even know where to start. Most likely, her cheap-ass $3 month hosting provider hiccuped and took the site offline. But she was panicked, desperate, and suddenly, I had a golden opportunity. I didn't want to break any laws. I wasn't about to actually threaten her, but I realized something crucial in that moment. I didn't need to do anything illegal. I just needed to sound ominous. So I typed a reply, short, vague, enough to make her sweat. "Sorry, but I'm not going to talk to you until you pay me what you owe me." No threats, no confessions, just the digital equivalent of raised eyebrows and a long pause. The effect was instant. Within minutes, she called me. Okay, she said, "what do you want?" I kept calm. "I still have access to your Google Analytics. I can see everything the landing page is doing. All I want is what we agreed to, 5% of the revenue that page generated. That's it." There was a long pause on the line. I continued, "You made just under $30,000 total, so $1,500. That's all I'm asking." She muttered something about checking her bank, told me she'd get it done. I told her I'd send a formal invoice. She agreed. Half an hour later, I got the wire transfer confirmation. It was done. The money hit my account the next day. Then she messaged again, "Can you please put my site back online now?" I was sitting at my desk, grinning like an idiot, heart pounding. I could feel the adrenaline in my hands. Not because I did anything wrong, but because I didn't. I played it just right. And now came the moment of pure, poetic justice. I typed, "I had nothing to do with your website crashing. You should contact your hosting provider." Then I hit send. That was the last time I ever heard from Mira. She never replied again. She never apologized, never admitted to ghosting me, never offered a tip or bonus, or even basic gratitude. She just paid what she owed and vanished. And honestly, that was more than enough. That one experience taught me a lot, not just about contracts and protecting yourself as a freelancer, but about people. Some clients will squeeze every ounce of work from you and vanish the second they think they can get away with it. But every now and then, if you play your cards right, karma lets you hand-deliver the bill. Since then, I've worked with dozens of clients, some amazing, some awful. I've learned to get things in writing, to set expectations, to trust, but verify, and to always get a deposit. And as for Myra, well, I assume she's still out there, probably selling magical pendants made of scrap metal and pretending to channel elven spirits. Maybe she found a new copywriter. Maybe her website really did die for good. But I like to think, every time her site hiccups, every time her cart glitches or her checkout page lags, she wonders, just for a second, if I'm out there again, watching.